ducks. Oh, goodness. Okay, so we're ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, oh, still got a sore arm. Oh, hana gadi wahi ka joke was what I don't see us, darling. Gazit dans Rio, you're just go and noji and dudgets going to star, or not Rooney. They didn't know all the Gorunga Gari, I guess. Yet he sought us to talk about it. Dano, yet in the stadio Honzog, Dano, Guego Scott, Negunungwe. They didn't know all do a Guades and Eag, and yet they're together than a Guego or Quadri or Nunqua Sopa. They didn't know all do. Yet he sought a gunhan near on the headstone, they're going to go Rio to the Hawakway. I don't care again how dumb dawe or on Hetzera because it's Tassera and Neganungwe. Dumb dawe or on Hetzera because it's Tassera and Asat Nigat Darege, Ganyaga Haga, Radinato, and Nataruni, Dana, Riska Rewage. Dumb dawe or Huio, Gariwa Gori Shustera, Dana, because it's Tassera. Dana, dumb dawe or on Hetzera and a Guego on a Gordon. Guyana Restaurant Goa, Nescana. Okay, so as always, everybody knows that whenever we get together for meeting, council, anything of importance, that we always have to carry out on the Gadi Badeko first. This is the words that come before all else, where we identify the things in creation that have created us and the things that we need to continue to sustain us. Oh, I'm thinking there's no translation tonight. Huh?
Okay. Yeah, that's how it felt like if you were waiting for something.
Waiting for translation here. Okay. Anyways, from last week, was there anything that we said? First off, for everybody for last week, we apologize that it was so short. We had a busy Saturday last week. There was 3 different things that was supposed to happen. Only one of them happened. Well, 2 of them happened. The Kanienkeha Class. We were supposed to do an opening for an event, and then there was supposed to be a movie happening that a good friend of ours, Ellen Collin, from Belgium, that she made. Anyways, there was a mix-up in the scheduling that only permitted things to only to be able to get partial of what was intended that night. If we would have known about the scheduling, we could have done the whole Kanienkeha class last week, but it was a mix-up. And so anyways, so for those of you, we didn't even get a chance to post it, like to give you a warning. So we apologize for that. But anyways, we do what we can. But was there anything that we said was carryover from last week?
Do you want to open the last one so we see it, or?
Might as well. I know it was so short. What did we do? Like a half hour?
Yeah, we were running like badly. So okay, I'm just gonna share it. There we go.
Okay.
So people of the Longhouse are intimately connected to our waters.
Okay. Waters, everything within the Longhouse is rooted in the waters. Longhouse is from where the sunrise to the sunset.
And that's it.
Okay. Okay, so then we should continue with an explanation as to that. This is to mean, okay, let's write this in English first and then we'll figure out how maybe we'll break it down. This is to mean, can we see it though on the screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna go there.
That the earth is the Longhouse. And everything within it is our responsibility. Okay, so maybe that can be broken like into two This to mean the earth is the longhouse, and then the second line will be, and everything within it is our responsibility. Man, I got itchy underneath my arm. In the last couple of days, my arm has been really, really bad. I had to wear a sling, and I don't know, just kept my arm so tight that maybe a rash started, and it started getting itchy underneath my arm.
Mhm.
So if anybody's like that, you gotta beware. Maybe a little gel or something, you know, on the arm to prevent from getting rash or something, or rubbing.
Okay, giga gandu ohunza ganusesne.
Giga ganda ohudza ganosesne.
Giga gando ohotsa ganum sesne.
Giga gandu ohunza ganum sesne. Stephen. Can you hear us, Stephen? Maybe there's a problem with his mic.
Hello?
Oh, yeah,
Hello?
now we hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah, I have it on Bluetooth. That's kind of acting up a little bit. Giga ganto ahontsa ganosesne.
And Harold and Desiree.
Gigo Gandum Honsa Ganum Zesne.
Circle.
And everything within it is our responsibility. Okay, while he's working on that, we'll come up with another English phrase. All our time and all our work is focused on keeping the house in order.
Dano aguego de gudinero yugoderi wayoni.
Begu. Yung Guadari. Yeah, that's all we need there. Ed. You know, no other breaks in there. Why, Gerda?
You should make it. Yeah, a lot of them are familiar now. Dano aguego de gunero de gudinero yugoderi wayoni.
Okay, wait a minute. Is Dego D in Dego D Nada? Is Dego D?
Yeah, de gudinero.
Yeah, okay, Dego D. Dego D. Wait a minute, we might read that as Dagundi. Dego. We better leave one at Dego. Put it back in there.
What's that your belly?
Dego D Nerda. De Gondin.
Okay.
Okay.
Dano Aguego de Godinero, Yugoderi Wayoni.
Dano Aguego de Gondinara yung Guaderi Hoyeni.
Dano Aguego de Gondinera yung Guaderiwayani.
Dano Aguego de Gontinero yung Guaderiwayani.
Dano Oguego de Gondinero, Yonquateri Wayoni.
Dano Aguego de Gondinero. Yungwa Deri Wyoming.
Circle.
Okay.
Wayagerdu, that phrase there about work. Maybe in English, maybe it's not the proper word, but see what word you come up with.
We would use work.
Okay,
Yeah, all our time. Aguego.
Like duties.
like what?
Like duties. Like
Duties, yeah, like along the lines of duties and responsibilities.
Yeah, well, that's Yugoderi Wayoni.
Mhm.
Okay, we'll work on another. We are individuals within the collective. Okay, then the next line. By fulfilling our collective responsibilities. Find our true individual selves. No F.
Selves. Okay. Now, where am I going here? What happened?
Garakwa.
It's like yung kisota Santana Kagarakwa. Garakwa.
Ayun, Sarah.
Do we need a break there? No, we don't need a break there. Yung Guaderi.
It's the same one done a while ago.
And then Oguanosco.
Ongwa.
The last word is tka. Their K will be a G, tkayedi. Aguego, Garakwagayun, Sera, Yugaderi Wayoni, Uguanusco, tkayedi.
Aguego, Garakwa, Gayunsera, Yung Guaderi Wayani, Onquanutsku, Tkayeri.
Aguego, Gayunsara, yung Guaderiwayani, un Guanusco, Tkayeri.
Aguego Garakwa Gayunsera yung Guaderiwayani un Guanusco Kayeri.
Aguego Karakwa, Kayuntsara, Yunkwatari, Wayoni, Unkwa Nusko, Kayeri.
Agwegum, Karakwa, Kayunsara, Yonkareri, Wyoming, Unquanuskum, Tekaeri.
Circle.
Okay, Mary Claude, with the circle, that Gayeri, eliminate the whole word.
Okay.
And then we'll put another one. I just listened to you. This is the other word. Apostrophe. O-N. T-A. Und you put another apostrophe there. Gayeri, Gayeri. The Gayeri Hage. Okay. Put it at Gayeri.
Yeah.
And that's just that last word. We'll have to say Amda Gayeri Hage. That it's the way I wrote it. This sounds better. It's more there's a flow to it. Amda Gayeri Hage. So that's all you have to say. Amda Gayeri Hage. For it to be proper.
Anda Garib Hage. Anda Gayeri Anda Gayeri Hage.
On the Gayeri Hage.
Ahonda Gayeri Hage.
Ayonta Kayeri Age.
Aunda Gaeri Hage.
Circle.
Okay, that Gayeri, that would be like the four directions it would be.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, all our time.
Hey, wait, hang on a minute there. Can you expand on that word?
The Gayeri Hage, for it to be proper in four directions, in the four directions.
So that's in reference to the house, keeping the house.
Yeah, because you're talking about north, south, east, and west.
Okay, when you said that, it sparked something, a memory of, it must have been a dream or something in the last couple of days of inside the body, something inside the body in all directions. This was, it must have been a dream because I did not read this anywhere.
It was from the Reconstitution. This woman, Lourdes, that spoke that the connection was coming when you connect from your heart to the sky, to the heart of the sky, to the heart of the earth, remember? And that it would come from inside to the outside.
Well, if you're balanced, you will say Tkayerun Dayeri, and that's your trunk is intact in four directions.
And the Gayeri Nioriwage.
Yeah, everything kind of ties in.
What's the collective?
Okay.
Is there anything after that?
By fulfilling our collective responsibilities.
After that?
No.
Okay. Okay, just write this and we'll figure out how to put it together later. We are more complete human. Our energy on the collective rather than on ourselves.
Okay, tia junhaak. And then between the two words, tia junhaak, make a space. Okay, then we'll have another word. Tia junhaak. Okay, tia junhaak. N-O-N-E-N, Nona. Yeah, that's it. Tia junhaak, no, it's T-E-T-E, ya, that's Sundaro, yeah.
Waya or Waja?
Wait,
Wajah.
okay, change the whole word. Take it right out. Go to the T, just leave the T. T-I-O-N, K-W-A, T-A, S-O-N, T-E-R-E-N. Okay, Tia Junhaak Nona Jungwada Sundaro. Oh no, Jungwada Jungwa T-O-R-O-H-O-N. The rest take out. Jungwadorohun. Tia Junhaak Nona Jungwadorohun.
Tia Junhaak. And Haak.
Would it be here? Ha'ak, because that's what you pronounce it. Ha'ak.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on there,
Junhaak.
Haak, yeah.
Okay.
And Jun.
No.
Jun. Maybe just that Jun. You got the wrong.
Tia Junhaak Nona Jungwadorohun.
Tia Junhaak Nona Jun got the wrong.
Tia Junha'a Nona Jiungwadorohun.
Tia Junhaak Nona Jungwadoroho.
Tia junhaak nona junquataro.
Tia Junhaha, Nona, Junquatro.
Circle.
Okay, then, okay, right at the front of all that, put I apostrophe,
Like here, you mean?
yeah, I apostrophe, I-O-I-E, okay, I-O-N, R-H-E-K. Okay, the Iurek. Tia Juha, Knona Chugodorohum. Yeah, okay, that just came to me. That's just that one word we gotta know, Iurek. And it's like by ourselves, we're by ourselves. It's like we're by ourselves when we are within the collective. That means like your coming is to one, eh? You're all by yourselves. You'd be 1,000 people, but if you're following the great law, you're a collective individual within the law to the T, you know.
This is where it fits. My father always used to tell us that in the longhouse, you will always you'll always be alone, but you'll never be lonely.
Yeah, it's in your thoughts. You gotta. That's why you interpret the law in your own way, and you got to put it on the table if you don't agree with it.
Okay, yeah, Junrek. Is that how you say it?
Okay, then take the next, leave the first I, and then take the IE out. Ionrek, tiagonha, yeah, Ionrek.
Iorek.
Yeah, that's it.
Ionrek.
Ionrek.
Ionrek. Iurek.
Circle.
Okay, wait, we're gonna do something there in the English where it says we are individuals. Right after that, put something in brackets. We're gonna put something there to identify that because that's a different, it's a different meaning, that word. We gotta get the sentiment. We have to bring it into a clearer perspective. Your unit.
It's like a collective thought. It's like a collective thought by being individuals is what it is, if that makes sense.
Is there like somewhere in that word like an in and out thing or an exchange of something?
Well, that's where the Eonrek, it's like it's almost an untranslatable thing, as it's a feeling that we all have. If you explained it to everybody and they would know Eonrek, because a lot of stuff we can't translate. And the other day when I was in Agrizasne, that's why I was so happy. A woman came in and she was 10 years older than me, and there was a man who was 9 years older than me. And one word, we could see three different things, and we all started to laugh because we were looking at our different perspective, but we had a common goal with the students listening in, you know, and and the woman was a teacher too. I found her incredibly, I almost didn't want to say my word that I was going to say. And then she says, there's a tarak. She says, I never heard it like that. I said, well, I never heard what you said. So the three of us were almost in the same age group, but by being from different parts of the turtle, I mean, the Kanienkeha communities, we still came to a common agreement because we had to focus on what the English was. So it's nice when if there was a couple of three people, and it's nice to have that woman's, the life givers, because you can't say, I know how women feel. You don't know how women feel. They have they're on another trajectory, that the word? Anyway. We got another sentence?
Longhouse has been, is not connected.
Do you have another sentence, Edith?
They have a sound problem, I think, Wayageru, because I don't see Stuart anymore. So I think he's trying to reconnect. We're just gonna be a few seconds.
Oh, because she's on mute too.
Can you hear us, Edith? Okay.
Okay. Oh, it's because I couldn't even unmute. Yeah, it was my mistake. I did something with the Stuart, but now it's like Zoom is telling him to update. So he's just trying to update the thing, and he should be able to join now. So it won't be long.
I want that joke on paper.
Uh-oh, look, what's that say? Do I push that?
Yeah,
What else?
I guess again.
Again?
This iyunurek is a very interesting word.
What's this?
The iyunurek is a very interesting word. I'm glad
Yeah,
you showed
Iyonrek
it.
is one would think that's if you were going to go English. Yeah, see, one would think that as an individual, we're individuals when we are within the collective.
Seems like it's speaking to the importance of the individual's voice
Yeah,
within
it's
the
the
collective.
soul. It's right in the soul, you know. It's like if I were like I was be looking at it, would be like if you're preparing an attack, but if we were preparing attack on another nation in the physical, we already know we know our plan, but one would think as an individual we have to be coordinated, you know. It won't work. You're still disconnected, Edith? Harold, where do you live?
I'm in Central California, in Fresno.
Oh, really? Central California.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. You getting a heat wave, or is it always a heat wave?
Yeah, it's always a heat wave,
Yeah.
or dry heat wave. Yeah. This is some of the worst though. The snow caps melted real early this year on the mountains around us. We're down in the valley here.
Okay.
So it melted I think about 2 months early. So it's real dry this year.
My late aunt was in real estate right in LA, and she was very successful. She was always selling homes to the movie stars and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she had married a Jewish man, and she got into real estate. And I mean, I don't know if you ever heard of Jane Weinman, the actress.
no.
Well, it's like before your time, and it's almost before mine, but I knew her when I was a kid. And this was her neighbor. I think it was one of Ronald Reagan's wives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was married a few times.
Yeah, different economy. We're a little bit up north of LA.
Okay.
It's all agriculture. Not too many movie stars, unless they're just passing through, you know.
I'd rather be with agriculture than movie stars.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Is this a big problem, Edith?
Leaving.
Well, actually, it's completely something that it was my mistake. I was just trying to remove the pin from Stuart's computer, but I guess that I went on the wrong button and it removed him as a person. So now it's like if the Zoom doesn't recognize him when he wants to come in because he had been blocked. So we are just trying to see in the Zoom, how could we unblock that? Because that means that he cannot go back. So it's very, I mean, we have never had something like that. It's a very,
You can't make a, so you can't sign off and make another Zoom?
so we're just trying to see
Oh, your way around it, huh?
where could we go to fix the problem. Room management.
If you push that, those double arrows, if you go back to the, right at the top.
Well, if you ask on the Zoom, if there's anybody who knows about this.
Can anybody help us with this technical issue? Does anybody have any knowledge on Zoom? What can we do when that happens?
That's what I was saying, like that, you know where it says recording above my head?
Who's that?
You got those two arrows.
Oh, I don't hear them now again. Hang on, hang on. Hello,
There-
can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, sorry, I had the volume down.
You know, like when you want to go back to something, so that's what you're trying to do, just above there on the far left, right at the top, you got those two arrows, left and right. If you push the left one, wouldn't it bring him back in?
No,
No?
no.
All right, well, that's, because sometimes I get lucky and if I press that, it goes back. It's just when Angel's not around. That's her expertise, right?
Yeah, yeah, actually.
So you can't get her on the phone, Mary Claude?
Well,
No, she's
nothing's
working
here.
now, and it's one of these things that she's not gonna know the answer. We have to read online to know how to undo it. So
Oh, yeah.
one of those we're trying to find the solution. I don't think she would know like this.
I can attempt to look while we're waiting. Sorry, Edith, what exactly is going on again?
Yeah, when you're on Zoom, you know, and you're the host, you have the possibility to pin people. So it's always their screen that is like being on the light for everybody else. So
Yeah.
Stuart's screen was pinned, but then we couldn't see the others when they were talking. So, you know, Agero was
Gotcha.
talking and the people on Facebook cannot see him. So I tried to withdraw the pin, but what I did is withdraw the person.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha.
So
Okay,
now
let-
that he's trying to log in, it says that he cannot go in because the host removed him. So it's like if, you know, I guess that they do that as a security, like if there's a non-welcome person and now it's like he wants to go or she wants to join back, they won't let him.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I'll while we're waiting, I'll see if I can find some answers.
Awesome. Thank you, Onyawa. Okay, meeting tab. Under in meeting, okay. Oh, okay, here.
You don't know that to me.
Hey Edith, real quick, so I was just looking at this. It said by default, if you remove any meeting participants or webinar panelists from the live session, they will not be able to rejoin the session using the same email address.
I think I
But we'll
got
be able
it.
to
Sorry to interrupt.
you got it?
I think, Stuart, if you try
Yeah, no,
now,
that's okay.
sorry. I think if you try now, Stuart, you should be okay because I clicked, I removed the option of blocking remove participants. So just try and see what happens.
No, still not letting me on.
But refresh your computer first and see what happens.
Refresh the computer?
You know, the little arrow that we keep saying, you know, when you want to refresh your.
Well, you don't have that when you open it from there, but try it again.
Yeah, it should work.
No, it's not working. Do you want me to restart the computer?
No, just to refresh, you know, to make it, you know, Edith, I don't know if you can explain.
Yeah,
to
but
me.
that's it is because he doesn't open it from the browser. He opens it from the little logo of Zoom that is on the, you know, bar of
He just
the.
needs to refresh his own thing so the computer understands that there's like has been an update, you know, on the
Where
website. The
refresh
Zoom
is?
website. The little arrow, you know,
In the top, but that wouldn't work for
Not
that.
for this one.
No, that's why I'm saying. No.
That escape, is that what you mean, Mary Cole? That escape?
No, it's this little arrow at the top, you know, it's like a circle. It's like a circle, but there's an arrow in it.
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah, I see it, yeah.
that wouldn't work on the Zoom.
No, and what I guess that Stephen, you were saying is exactly what happens, you know, like, I mean, now even though you already withdrew that thing in the settings, because he was withdrawn for this session, he won't be able to go back. That's what I'm gathering from what Stephen was saying. I don't know.
Yeah, so they're saying
How
if
about-
you want the removed participant to be able to rejoin, it will not be immediately impacted. So you'll need to stop and restart before the change is recognized through Zoom. So you would have to stop the Zoom session,
Oh.
restart it, and then the blocked participant would be able to join again. That's what this says. I'm not sure though.
What time is it?
So if the host and co-host leave, maybe it's gonna work.
So it's saying the prerequisite to do this would be the account owner or the
7:53.
person who has admin privileges would have to allow the removed participant or webinar panelist to rejoin the group at that level. So you would have to, if you want to do that, you have to restart the whole session. And then whoever has the admin rights to this, then that person would have to allow for that person to join again.
Okay,
From that.
allow remove participant that has been clicked. So it would be for us to all leave and rejoin the Zoom. So do we want to do that?
No. Okay, what we're gonna do for now is we'll just take it from Edith's computer. We'll just do a few more lines. Let's see where we're at then. So we can't even watch this now on the TV then.
Oh, we can plug it here now. The port here.
Oh, you got that?
Yeah. I completely oh, unwanted. About 8 of them.
Right.
Okay. So where were we?
We were done, we were waiting for another sentence.
Oh, you gotta put your,
I'm gonna connect the block rocker.
no, not block rocker.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. How do I do this now?
Okay, that's our new,
Hey, we gotta fix the sound here. We don't have sound.
I'm gonna stop the share just for a second to, there we go. Can somebody say something, please?
something.
Okay.
Okay.
Something. It works.
Okay, where were we? What do we got? Next time, don't try doing what you tried doing.
I'm gonna ask Marie-Claude next time.
Okay, what did we leave off on?
We were done, we just gotta get the new sentence. Ion, Rick, that was the only thing we added.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, why fulfilling our collective?
Oh,
Oh,
wait,
yeah.
no, there's something we wanted to talk about there. Go back up where we see that. Ionrek, that one. Okay, would that be something sounding like in the collective we find ourselves?
Yeah, well, that word in English would be one would think as individuals within the collective. One would think. It's like one of those words you don't have to say. But I mean, you can say it, but it's almost self-explanatory if it's explained to everybody.
Okay, wait, one would think as individuals within the collective. No, that doesn't describe it. One would think,
Or as an individual thinker within the collective.
but just for that word, Ionrek.
It's almost like a neutral, like, I don't know, English, it's like a neutral, it's a neutral, singular way of thinking, but it goes within the collective, though.
Okay,
Makes sense.
the stuff that's in the bracket, wipe that out.
Looks like you're all saying the same thing in different ways as is. A couple different ways now. But it's an important concept.
There's different concepts in here. Let's write this down. Different things we're gonna write down in that bracket. We find ourselves, or we discover ourselves within the collective. Now, to get to that point of what Weiergard was identifying, what that means, Eorek. It's a we discover ourselves within, we are individuals within the collective. Okay, there's something here. I could feel it, like there's something just beyond this thought that will explain this or bridge the gap of the understanding. We discover ourselves within the collective.
How about we are individual yet collective or communal?
Well, that's what the overall sentence says anyways. We are individuals within the collective. We're looking at that one word, Eorek. That's where what we're looking at, or what we're writing in the bracket. It's a different concept there. We discover ourselves within the collective.
It may be what Weiergard keeps referencing as the thinking part. It's a reference to mind, mindset, spirit.
You're on the right track right there. Weiergard, when we greet, we're greeting each other's minds, right?
Yeah, what's going on? I greet your intelligence. That's what it is.
We're all parts. Okay, let's think like this. We're in the darkness. We're points in the brain, neurons, little flashes in the brain. As long as we're all working on our own, where we are within the brain, doing our job, we are collective. And only when we're doing that, then can we see the collective. So then at that point, the collective activates us to be a different kind of individual. And not an individual unto themselves, but an individual within the collective. This is a complex, it's complex understandings here. This is probably key, well, one of the key things to understanding how and why all native people, all natural peoples around the world, all function the same way, all function collectively. Huh.
Like
There's
reciprocity.
something, you know what we're dealing with here? We're dealing with that thing that we always say, that when you go to a magic show and the magician says, now we're going to hypnotize somebody, we just need somebody to volunteer from the audience. You put your hand up, you walk down out of the audience, you sit on stage, the hypnotist starts going like that and hypnotizing you. And like we say all the time, at what point do you realize that you're hypnotized? You'll never realize that you're hypnotized. I think
What about
I think that's where we're at right now.
But you're, what you call, hypnotizing yourself, really, because that's what you want.
I think we're at a point, we're at a point of where there's something to understand here that is key to how all natural peoples all function the same way.
what about like a cognizance of one spirit? It's that internal recognition that we are one spirit, and I think the word spirit goes a little deeper than the thought itself. I don't know how else to explain that.
You know what? Just on this, I think we need to have a discussion. Just on this one phrase here. Guerrero, how often is that word used?
Well, that's almost like the position we're in right now, where it's it can be explained, but everyone pretty well has to explain what they think. Ionek is one would think, so one would think, but like the person just now in front of us was talking, Steve, is as before we were all peoples were from the earth. No matter where we were before they arrived here, they were all earth people before all this thinking about God and heaven. Everybody forgot their original thought, which were all their foods was from the land. All of a sudden they were looking to this false thing in the sky, which has stayed with them forever, where we're getting it back. We realized we've been had. But it was not a good thing to say you've been had, because the majority is against you.
Janet raised her hand.
Yeah, we gotta have a deeper discussion on this. Janet raised her hand.
Yeah. I think the problem lies in the consciousness between the two different races. Basically, it's the earth people and then the non-earth people. But the thing with us is that what keeps us in balance, what keeps our checks and balances going, is the fact that we are governed by the laws of creation, and we stay within those ramifications. Whereas with the white man in his concept of being communal, it translates into an ism, communism, where everybody has the same thought and nobody has any individuality. While, we have the individuality, but yet we come to a consensus based on the laws of creation. So, yeah, it's really hard to put that into
That's well put, though.
Yeah, it's very well put. And reciprocity between the autonomous individual and the collective.
That's a good point. That's the main thing right there, Harold. What you take from the earth, you must give back.
This word might be dealing with a very key, pivotal thing about consciousness.
But what you're saying too, like Ian Rick, it's like almost saying in your head, you're saying we are not alone. We are not alone as individuals and as a collective. We all think that way. If you don't believe in God, and like Janet said, the isms, take all the isms away from Turtle Island. And why do all the Oklahoma think the same way? Because they never heard of those isms. It wasn't a part of their law. So no, the reason they're so stuck on it, because it's like anything new. If you replace a car with the horse, well, nobody wants to go back to the horse. But they don't realize that the car is the one that's polluting the air and killing us all. But people will do that. They'll cut off their nose to spite their face.
The word Tia Jun Ha'ak, is that individual?
By ourselves, yeah.
By ourselves.
But if everybody's saying that, Stuart, then you're not by yourself.
And Jun Guatdarohu, that's the collective?
Yeah, we're partners. We agreed to be partnered in this. That's why when you see before, they didn't get married. If you're with a partner, if you're with a partner and you say, we are partner, we're not married. And having children, blah, blah, blah. Once the kids get older, they're gone. So you're not tied to nothing. You're tied by that child, but a child no longer won't always be a child. So you have a place where you have a out. And you choose if you want to stay together or go out.
What I'm getting from this then, knowing that the Tia Jun Ha'ak is individual and Tion Guatdaroho is the collective, that the Ionrek, where I see this word is in between two nothings. It's the thing that makes two nothings real. On their own, those two nothings are nothing, but they can only be something with the bridge. So I see this word as being at the root of DNA. It's the riddle. It's the riddle of something that is, that cannot be, something that makes sense but doesn't make sense. It's something rooted in
creation,
magic of life.
Yeah, it's creation.
So, okay, I see something deeper, fundamentally on that level, as that word, Iyurek, representing that, the way we always draw the double helix in that enzyme or whatever the hell it's called in between. That's what Iyurek is. Iyurek.
I had the exact same image in my head too.
That's interesting that you say that. Sorry to hopefully I didn't interrupt anybody, but there was a guy, an indigenous guy who actually said this, a native man, his name was Leroy Little Bear. He said, he talked about the stage between energy turning into matter, and that was the Higgs particle. So he was basically talking about the transition from kind of nothing to something, some etheric thing to an actual solid thing. And it was that Higgs particle. I think they sometimes refer to it as a boson, but that's interesting that you drew that parallel, because I just listened to this the other day, and it's kind of cool that you're drawing that parallel.
Well, Eonic is also feminine, so if that's going to give you another clue, it's feminine, Eonic.
Okay, then this shows, for me, this is where I'm at. In this thinking, we're in the womb of our mother. Everything is floating around in there, but it's got to be decided. This is a baby human. This is a baby elephant. This is a bamboo tree, whatever, you know. So within that, all of that amniotic fluid floating around, there is that thing, something that decides, or that is reading the blueprint to say, okay, this is a baby human, a human baby. So we're gonna organize these particles in this way. So collective is not about humans. It's about, we are the collective of trees, of animals, of plants. So in this way, this language is describing the natural science of how we came into being. And these words identify those important junctures. You know, if you're traveling from point A to point B and you're following a road map and you're looking for, look for the big tree with a rock at the base of it, and you're going to turn there. Okay, so you know to turn there, it's much different than GPS telling you to turn here. There's something there in your knowledge that tells you to do this. But the only way it can tell you to do this is if you are a collective of all the cells. We're collective. Within the Longhouse, we are collective, but it's not on the level. It's not as superficial as looking at being a collective of a bunch of humans. No, in the Longhouse, we are a collective of a bunch of cells that are on a continuous journey from the very smallest realm to the very biggest realm. And that's where we find ourselves. That's how we are never alone.
Wouldn't it be like, because it's female, at one time when we're inside our mother's womb, we're all females. So isn't that where the life giver decides which one's going to be, if this female's going to remain a life giver or a male, a seed or a life giver? That's the power a life giver has that a man cannot have. And it's a good thing, because he would only make men.
What you're saying right there, it's like as if we're in a room and Eorek is in that room alone.
Yeah.
It's almost like this is what decides, or this is what, it's like Eorek reads the blueprint of creation.
See, if you're breaking that word, as you're all talking, I'm breaking that word down, and Eonrek, Yazarek, and that's like pushing you. There's something pushing you, you know, like when you're working on a bridge or a skyscraper and you want to step off. You don't want to step off, you're gonna die. But something that's human to test death right to the end. You go to the end and you say, what am I, an idiot? But you'll go there because you've defeated death. You came back. There's something strong. I think it's your mother pulling you back. because us, we always face that kind of life, like a soldier when he's going to do something. He either becomes a hero or he's a dead hero.
Iorek.
Yeah, iorek, yagunrek means to push you. So that's where you get radori, adoi. They call him radori. He pushes. But it could be yundori, because who says that the adui was? It's always supposed to be male. Maybe it's a life giver, because she pushes you out of the womb.
Well, ultimately, you and I are male, but ultimately we come from female.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's that big gray. It's not gray. It's very debatable. It'll be interesting on what everybody else thinks. See, that's why I was saying the other day, I was with two other elders who are older than me, and they would look to me sometimes saying, you present a different case. I said, well, I'm teaching all the time. I'm tearing up the word. Or them, they're retired now. I said, well, you can't retire or you're done.
No
Maybe
such thing.
yet to come,
No such thing as retiring.
That's what I mean. But because again, you're into those isms there, you say, well, you have to retire.
Okay, we're gonna just continue to put a few words here in the brackets. Now, for each of us, think of like the things that we just said. Now, each individual word that we put there, it might not make sense on its own, but this is for us to come back to be able to discuss this word at the same level instead of having to go back and start the whole conversation over again. So here at the end of within the collective, just put a comma, or not a comma, put a line or slash. We'll put slashes. Okay, this is what I see. I don't know how you spell this. The enzyme, I think it's E-N-Z-Y-M-E. That or no, just put the enzyme in DNA. Yeah, from there it's breakdownable enough. Okay, if there's anything else in here that any of you's grasp that a term or a word or a reference that could embody some of the sentiments we were talking about, we'll put it here so that we can come back to revisit this.
So wouldn't the enzyme be the seed, Stuart?
Yeah, well, okay, now we're getting right at the center. We're getting at the center of the sun with this discussion, because on that level, this is where it breaks into three, because the one needs to take from the two, needs to connect something floating by to these two. So it has to be conducive to these two, but it's not either one of those two. So there's a very tricky transition here, an in and out of being in the mirror and looking the opposite way. Okay, anyways, any other words that any of you can associate to this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, let's let Janet go. Janet was trying to say something.
Oh, it's okay if Harold wants to go first. That's all right.
Of course not, Janet. Go ahead.
But well, I might as well go. Okay, so I'm sorry, Harold. I was thinking of two concepts. One that comes to mind is the word catalyst, and then I also thought of direction, which makes me think of wind. But something has to steer that, right? That power. I don't know. But that could go back to the female, like you said.
Catalyst. Power.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because he comes to talking about the enzyme in the room by itself, and why Garu's saying that this is a feminine word, reminds me of the matrilineal council process, where the women are the sole selectors, right? So a'o dio tansara tukundi nakratkawas, right? That's the word that kept coming into my head. But all strains of life, you know.
That's what I was thinking too, Harold.
So this would be on that line, which I agree with, it would be something that would stem back to the time of Sky Woman herself. It would go right back to this phrase or this terminology would go right back to where the original circumstances or conditions existed. This would be Sky Woman. This would be where the cell decides to split itself in two, where it's not something that just happened. It had to decide it. Had to decide that this is what I'm going to do. And that's where from the one, that the two, that the diversity is then created in that action. Eorek. We are individuals coming out of this one.
She's pushing us out of Eorek.
It's like a woman being pregnant, where this next manifestation is forced to come into being. Well, maybe let's just imagine this, that from the very instance, the very first life form is a physical embodiment of a woman. So let's just imagine, well, there's no evolution in there, and she doesn't know that, well, that she can get pregnant. So at that instance, where the first time it was a choice, it was decided. This goes back to the twins, when the twins were on the turtle's back, and it was decided by Sky Woman that this thing that was now created has to be divided into two. Eorek, Eorek. This is happening Eorek in the birthing process. It's happening right at the instance that a woman becomes impregnated, that the egg is fertilized, because that's when it starts. The one starts becoming 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, on and on and on and on. Eorek, we are one. I am all of this. Try to wrap that up in a small package and give that to the world. The world will not grasp that. They will not understand that. This is the reason why the complexity of the Longhouse is that there must be law recital every 5 years. The minds have to continuously be kept like atoms jostling around, because if not, they will become dormant. If they become dormant, they'll just meld back together. Diversity will be lost, and we will not have Eorek. Eorek is a very deep word, a very huge word. It's at the crux of where the cell divides. Eorek What else? Okay, Wayagirdo, in there, just see if you can hear any of this. The twins are on the turtle's back and they're walking side by side. They're taking their steps together. And then they go their separate ways until they find themselves back together again.
Well, Eorek is like, okay, I'm thinking. Eorek means that she, Jagopsas, are now is pushing them apart, pushing you out of the nest. Like once you leave the family, you and your brothers leave, you always come back. Somewhere along the line, you come back, whether to eat or, I mean, if you had sisters, you'd come back. But it's
And as you know, that let's say, like with my family, my brothers, after my mother died, all came apart. But we know, like you said, while the mother's alive, we're doing our different things. We're not really working in conjunction with each other. Only when we come back together, if it's a dinner at our mother's place or whatever, then are we back conducive again to each other. So Eorek it's the enzyme, because it's what creates the two. The two complete their individual journey to come back together as one. Eorek. Now I see more the science of the twins as they walked on the turtle's back. Okay, that's where I would say this word is from, where it goes to. Of course, I don't know why, Gerdo. This is, what do you think about this? I say this word, Eorek, it comes from within the womb of our mother.
Well, that's the feeling I get.
Eorek.
Let's ask the life givers. They're the ones that have to put. What do you guys think?
To me, the image that comes is the infinitely small and the infinitely big that meet at the same place.
For a reason, you know, our heartbeat, like the blood goes all over the place, but at the same time, it travels from a center of the heart, and that in and out. And when we think of grandma, it's exactly the same thing. It's like it all goes one side and then it spreads all over the place. So it's that constant movement of the in and out, of the breathe in, breathe out, of the pump of the heart, in and out. Like the hourglass, you know, it's like each one individual, but at the same time, all together.
It's interesting.
So it'd be like grandmother. It's the first one. It's a turtle. Any connections, any associations to the turtle in that?
Yeah, Rick. No.
Janet raised her hand.
Who? What?
Janet.
Go ahead, Janet.
I keep thinking of the sun, which is male energy. We live in a world of negative and positive. So, I mean, you can't have one without the other. And it was kind of like almost something what Marie Cloud said kind of made sense to me. Well, I'm not really sure what I'm trying to get at, but if we didn't have the sun, the moon, Grandma Moon couldn't do her duties, and Mother Earth wouldn't be able to give us, you know, food and I mean, everything works. You can't have one without the other, but something has to direct, like the stars. There's a word for the stars, and it means power, or like ignition, fire, gas densita or something. But that doesn't have anything to do with this word. It's just the thought about the sun. Something has to give it direction. It has to give it momentum for those twins to come around. And my other question would be, after they come around, after they go full circle, they have to have changed when they, you know, and then they go back around that cycle again. So I don't know. It just seems like it's an infinitum thing. I don't know.
Mhm. Yeah, this is when we're looking at, like when you're talking about the sun and the moon, the earth, we're looking at a scale very big or big of our solar cell. That is a duplicate, or we're a duplicate of that. The earth duplicates that, everything on earth duplicates that. And then in every cell in us, it's duplicated until it gets to smaller and smaller and smaller realms until we get right to the center and the core. And then that's where we'll find ourselves on the scale of the very big, where we won't realize it, that we've gone full circle. That, like we say all the time, in order for us to give thanks to be here, the entire waterverse has to exist first. What's on the other side of the universe has to be there in order for all the galaxies to be in place and arranged just right, so that our galaxy is arranged just in the perfect spot, so that our solar cell in our galaxy is just in the sweet spot, so that, like we said, the sun can be activated to coincide with the different other elements within us, within our solar cell, to spark that fire. This is the Kanienkeha process. It's the heart process. And here, maybe to understand it a little better, we'd have to look at the gestation process of the fetus in the womb, in particular of the heart. Because I can't say specifically right now, I don't really remember right now. We'd have to refresh our memory on this. But we know that within a baby, if I was a fetus, that the heart is first only pumping within itself. And I think that's for a moon or two. Anyways, the blood that's feeding the baby, that's keeping the baby alive, is not coming from its own heart. It's coming through the umbilical cord from the mother's heart. So, why was I just saying that? Why the heck was I just saying that? That's the duplicate of the realm of the very big, the realm of the very small. What gets an atom fired up and working? What gets an atom jostling, or where there's life in it? Because even science identifies that the stuff of life is there, but it's just not fired up. There's something that fires it up. And this is where we can talk about it forever, and anybody can just end up in saying, in the same place, and saying, well, what is it? Well, this is where we are alive, and we're asking ourselves, what is it that makes us alive? What we have to do in a time or when we're in a state like that is live and follow the processes that gave us life. And that's where we'll find the answers to such things. For some reason, this is a big word tonight, Iorek. It's a big word for what it encapsulates. I think it encapsulates everything. I think it's one of those words, like what Wayagirdo said, like you got to know it to understand it. Well, how could you know it? If how How do you come to know it? It's like one of those living things. You have to live through it, or yeah, just start to be alive to be able to grasp it. This
It's
is
like
probably,
It's like the life giver accepting the seed. To me, that's accepting the seed. And then the individual becomes a collective. The collective being the father and the mother and the child to become part of the collective of all of creation of human beings. That's what I'm thinking, I'm hearing. That's just my own opinion. Just listening to you guys talk. Because you are more English, you think more English.
well, it's not opinion. I mean, for you to say that's your opinion, it's just words for you to say it's opinion, but it is what you know.
It's
And,
my strong, I strongly believe that.
and it's something that all of us all know also. We can all affirm that. We can all confirm. So
I have a sentence on my mind. The matrilineal decision of the in-between.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Everybody has something to say, but don't hold back. That's what the gun session is about. Maybe you got the answer. You're not saying nothing.
the whole line here of what we're talking about is what longhouse people are. And whether or not we got this word tonight to get latched onto, whether or not that word is there, the people of the longhouse are a collective people. And this is something to grasp, something to understand more. We have to expand our knowledge on this as to what makes a people collective. Because when you look in a non-native society, they are collective because they're all doing something that is the same thing together. But in their association, they wouldn't identify it as collective because none of them are doing the same thing. But they're all doing the same collective destructive act. So there is a great complexity revealed here tonight to being a longhouse person, to being an Ungwe. There is understandings that you can have, but at the same time, paradoxically, seemingly that you can't have them. To be longhouse is to be, we can say, the ultimate paradox and the ultimate order out of paradox. Anyways, this still demands more deep thought. But what time are we right now?
8:39.
Okay, we got 20 minutes. What?
I
Just to
stopped
finish.
your other sentence there, Edith.
Yeah. Okay. Did we say that? Did we say that last sentence first? The
Yeah,
last.
yeah, we did. Okay, I got the first, that's part of it. I'll just finish it off. Onion.
Gowirandos. That was yesterday. Even this morning, it was Gowirandos. But this afternoon, it got windy, and it even got a little bit chilly. even though it was still boiling. It was weird. The wind was.
Stuart, I just thought of something.
Uh-huh.
Yonrek. It reminds me of a word I learned. Igere, which means, yeah, and it means to think, but the teacher said it also means to have. And maybe Wayagero could say more on that. So, because to think and to have are two separate actions in a sense.
Igere means to think of having. You think, you can, you know, when you can't, you think something is unachievable. You think it first. And then if you're a strong person, you're going to make your thoughts into reality. But if you're always afraid of Big Brother, you won't even try. Because the first thing someone will turn around and say, you're wrong. That's the person that got afraid of you because you're a free thinker. Don't forget, when somebody calls you down, take it as a plus because they're all afraid of you. The whole 7 or 9 billion people are afraid of you if they're in the ism category. Yet they all want to be like you, but that's that, you know, the crab in the bucket. Nobody wants you to get out. But in our language, we can think a lot more clearer and more in depth. But that's why it's nice to have a life giver elder in the room, because we cannot think for a life giver. You know, I remember about 3 months ago, Ben Mulrooney said something on his morning program where he's got all life givers of color. And he told them he knew what a woman thought. And one of them actually answered him. I thought there was a delay. And I never seen her again because his face changed. And she hasn't been back on TV. And I said, as soon as she said it, I said, they're kicking her ass off. Because he's a white man and he cannot be put in his place.
So this igere, then in English, that's almost like the word wish.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, wish.
But it's a little bit more.
It's wishful thinking. Wishful thinking. It's almost concrete, but it's, you know,
a little bit more than wish.
Solidified form.
Okay, anyways, the commas on this one. Yeah. Daya jokta.
Yeah, daya jokta.
Yeah, daya jokta. Zion. So put it at Zion.
Jijon. Okay, I made a mistake. T-S-I-T-I-O-N. Put a T. Jijon Guadaro. Okay.
Okay, so Zijon.
Guadaro.
That's good. Yon Guadari.
We did this already. Guadari Hoyani.
Dewa Tsenis. Dewa.
Dewa Tson, yes. Dewa, and then Tson, yes. We find we are alone. Again, Tia Jun Ha'ak.
Another one after
Tia.
Song, yes. Dewa Song, yes. Tia Jun Ha'ak.
Jun Ha'ak.
Tia Jun Ha'ak.
Yeah.
Tia Jun Ha. Jun Ha. Yeah. All right. How's that look?
Okay. Ja, daya jokta. Si Jun Guadoroho, Jun Guadari Wayani. There was Hayes, Tia Jun Ha'ak.
Ya da ya jokta. Zi John Guadaroha. Yon Guadari Wayani de Watzahias. De Watzahias.
They were son, yes.
De Watzahias. Son. De Watzahias. Tia John Hai. John Haak.
Yeah, Tia Junha.
Yata ya jotga, si jung wadoroho, yung waderiwayani, te watsonias, tia chung haak.
Ya tayachokta, tichon guatoroho, yon guateri wayani, te watsanyes, tiachon hahak.
Yata ya juto. Si jungwatero. Yungwateri wayoni. Te watsonyas. Tia jungha.
Janet.
Yatai Dioktan, Zijon Guarorohan, Ionquateri, Guayani, Dewat Senias, Yat Yonkak.
Circle.
All right.
Do we have another one?
I
think there's one more, right? Okay, that's the last one, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, this is going to be a little bit.
You have enough of them? Getting a little cool now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna leave this window open.
It says 19 now.
Well, I didn't think I would get this one.
Wow.
Yeya Jung Gwet Tayeri. Again, that Gayeri's in there. We are complete 4 ways, you know. Yeya Jung Gwet Tayeri.
No.
Yeya Jung Gwet Tayeri.
Do you think that we need one here? And where?
It's up to you. Yeah, go ahead. Jia Jungwe. Okay, Dayeri, Nono. Ungwa. Ungwa. Sats. SASTS. Don Sera.
Dewa, Doro.
Jinina Junha. Okay. Yeya Jugwet Dayeri Nono. Ungwa Sats Don Sera. De Wadorohum Jinina Junhaak. Unjun Haak.
Yeya jungwe dayeri nona ungwasat tansara dewa doroha zinine unjung haak.
That's the one.
Yeya chungwe dayeri nona ungwasatstansara tewadorohon sinine unjung haak.
Yeah, great.
Yeya chongwe tayeri nona ongwasat stansera de watoron zinine onjon hahak.
Yeya Jungwe Dayeri Mona Ungwa Sastansara Dewa Torohu Sinine Unjuha.
Yeah, yeah, Yeonjun Kwe Tariari no Nona Onquastats Tensera Dewa Torohon Zenini Onjun Ka
Unjun Haak.
Circle.
Onja Haak.
Okay, there's something I just want to relate to you. I just stepped outside there I opened the window on the screen door. Anyways, I stepped outside and I seen the moon. And what I am convinced of right now is that what we are looking at when we look up into the nighttime sky and we see Grandma Moon, we are looking at the enzyme, the one that is unseeable, that is right here. That within the structure of DNA, we know that it's like just solid rungs going across, but that's what it looks like. But we know they're not solid. They're made up of individual cells. And then there's something just floating by, and there's that enzyme that takes it and places it in there. And what we don't consider is that the enzyme, how it determines is that it has, the thing that it places there has to match. It has to match this side, and it has to match the both sides. So what we're looking at on our scale in the solar cell, we're able to see our Mother Earth, the sun, and our grandmother Moon. Now, the two bodies of our Mother Earth and our grandmother, our Mother Earth and our eldest brother, the sun, you can see those things. But if you're looking at those things, you can't see the smaller thing. And the smaller thing is our grandmother Moon. And when you look at, you consider the moon, what does she do? Well, she encircles our Mother Earth, and that is like a protective barrier for our Mother Earth. So what does she do? She receives the bulk, the majority of all of the what they call asteroids, comets, stuff like that. And so this is what the job of that enzyme is, to take the thing that is just floating out there, to grasp, to catch it, and then to put it in its place. Now, if our grandmother Moon grasps or catches a satellite or an asteroid or a comet, well, how does that get to Earth then? It gets processed through the body of our grandmother Moon, through the heart. As everybody knows what the whole process is, you know, the centrifuge and her traveling in the 28 days around the earth, that this is how that thing then would get filtered through her into the blood, into the body. So I am convinced 100% through our conversation tonight. I've always been leaning this way, but now I'm not afraid to state it publicly and openly that grandma moon and the moons of all planets, the moons in all systems, perform that function of that. They are on the level of DNA, that enzyme that places whatever in between the two, and if it doesn't fit, then it removes it. It's the spirit, and only the spirit of Sky Woman, which is the blueprint itself, can do that, which is the reason why, like why Gerdo identified that it's a female, that it is the life giver process. Okay, anyways, there's a lot here to grasp tonight. That this is not just words. These words have developed out of the creation that we have developed from. So these words are extensions of those things. They're not words like you'll hear words like all of a sudden we're gonna name the back of this chair, we're gonna name it something like skadiddly wop, something that means nothing, just a bunch of noises together. And this is how most languages are now, because like English, because one word means just that one thing. It's not associated to this other thing. It's not like a building language. So you have to remember many words. Now there's many words in Kanienkeha that you got to remember also, but they're all built from root words. So, and those root words are from the original interaction with that thing within creation. So truly, on the scale of DNA, when things are coming together, being placed together, this is where the Kanienkeha language is developed. It was developed on that level. And so this is the reason why that the Kanienkeha language, again, is the only language of peace, because it is the only language that addresses all things. All things are considered, even though everybody will say that from whatever language that they're in. But the reality is that everybody does not live that way. It's because it's not true what they say. When they say all things are considered, it is just not true. Here we see tonight that in the discussion of what a longhouse person is, all things are considered. All things are addressed. All things are put in their place. There is nothing left, like if we have an egg carton and there's a bunch of eggs there, we put all our eggs in there. No, nothing is left unaddressed or not provided for. So anyways, very complex. Now I'll go over this tonight, everybody. This was not just like, say, Wire Gerdo teaching us words. As you know, this was much different than other Kanienkeha classes. This is something now tonight where I think it's our first truly interactive. And I think we can say clearly, because it is on this level. We are working right there now. And this is what makes us truly interactive, where even though all of us, myself, we're discussing in English, we can find the sentiment in Kanienkeha, because Kanienkeha is the only language that considers all things. Okay, anyways, how is this going to be done since
Wayangiro is going to say the words as if Angel was there. She's just going to take the extract of the audio after. So
is she there?
no.
So, he just says it anyways?
Yeah, because this whole thing is being recorded anyway. So.
Okay, so more than ever, this is where everybody else has to stay quiet. Mute your microphones if you can. And as soon as Wire Gerdo is finished saying it, then you can unmute again. We'll all come back.
We're gonna mute over here too, Wayangiro. So I'm gonna just do like this to say and start.
Giga Gondo Ohoza Ganusesne. This is to mean that the earth is the longhouse. Dano Aguego de Gudinere. Yuguaderi Hoyoni, and everything within our responsibility. Aguego Karakwagayutsela, Yuguaderi Hoyoni, Uguanusku, Aunda Gayerihage. All the time, and all our work is focused on keeping the house in order. Iorek Tiajuhaak, Nono Juguadorohum. We are individuals. We discover ourselves within the collective, the enzyme in DNA within the collective. Ya jokta, Jijunguadorohum, Yuguaderi Hoyani, the Wadzahayas, Tiajuhaak. By fulfilling our collective responsibilities, we find ourselves, our own individual self.
Yeah, you just the word the Watsanyas. You said the Watsahanyas.
Oh, the Wadzahayas.
Okay, maybe just this one. For the recording purpose, maybe you should go back and re-say the whole thing.
Okay. Ya daya jokta, Jijunguadorohum, Yuguaderi Hoyani, the Wadzahayas, Tiajunhaak. By fulfilling our collective responsibilities, we find ourselves in our individual selves. Okay. Yeya jungwet dayeri nono ungwa satstonsera the wadorohum jinine ujunhaak. We are more complete. We are more complete human when we focus our energy on the collective rather than ourselves. That was it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, this was tonight more than a language class. It's pretty much like a ceremony. It is a science class. It is a, if you want to imagine this, even a gender class, you know, identifying the roles of the genders. So as you know, as you have seen over the time that we've been doing this, that the Kanienkeha class addresses many things. It may begin on, say, we're talking about donuts. It may begin on that level, but as you see, all things come back to being rooted to the center of all things. So all these Kanienkeha classes that we've done, some of them may seem like not trivial, but less like maybe less important, you know. But while some others are more important, this is what I identified tonight, that this one was more important because it embodied so many things tonight. I am pretty certain that tonight we're probably all going to be laying in bed and our minds are going to be working on just the experience that we had tonight. Okay, so if that's good with everybody, we're just going to close now, given the time. You know, what time is it?
Well, we did tonight. We did a lot of counseling. I think that's what you got to notice. What on here that we crossed back and forth. That's it's a good thing there wasn't 17 of us. We'd still be on the first one.
Yeah, this was a really good one tonight. Anyways, like I said, when I went outside and I seen the moon, it really solidified for me what we were talking about. So just imagine being in your own body on such a small scale of being able to look into the interior of a single cell and to be able to see in that interior the DNA, and to see within that structure of the DNA the thing that is invisible, which we can say is the spirit. determining all things. That's what I see our grandmother moon. I extrapolate her to the enzyme within the structure of DNA. So, yeah, anyways.
Hey,
Okay.
you guys, you know what happened to me the other night? It was dark out, and for some reason I said, I gotta go outside. I went out on the porch, there was no lights on. And I heard a noise, but I said, what is it? I went out and there was like an animal growling. It was a like that. And then I said, well, I'm not afraid of anything. And I said in Kanienkeha, I says, get a good son. I'm not afraid of you. Dada Jack Dizak's gonna does it. If you want me, come and get me. And the thing just faded and went away. And I said, what the hell could it be? And then I just laughed, came in, and I said, well, whatever it was something you could feel like something was ready to jump. But that's
When was that?
Huh?
When was that?
It was last night. It was last night, yeah. And I says, what the heck? You know, like when you live out here, you hear so much stuff. Sometimes I hear something clawing along the siding. And me, I know that's when they have, you know, when they stay up all night in the longhouse and they Adois go around pounding. Sometimes they'll have that, and I just say, what's the Adoris going around the house? Because I got so much masks in my house. And you know, it doesn't phase me. When Stephanie was here, she would be afraid. She says, what's that? What's that? And the thing about Dehonia, that when we just brought him back from the hospital, we had him, we didn't want to put him in a crib because we want him to be with us. So he was sleeping between us. And she woke me up. She said, Wayagero, what's that? And I said, what's what? She said, look outside. There was a blue dot going around the house, around and around. Counterclockwise, we would see it in the windows, the 2-bedroom windows. And I says, I don't know. I says, maybe it's the creation acknowledging he's here. She said, do you ever see that? I said, no. Then she said, you think he's going to be okay? I says, I think positive. I said, it's a protection, just that he's here. And then we never seen it again. But she was afraid, you know, she says, is it haunted here? I said, no.
It's just alive.
Yeah, it's alive.
Other places have to be haunted, but here we're alive. Hey, you know my cousin Gordy, yeah?
Yeah.
Did you hear what happened with him?
Oh,
That he passed away.
really?
Apparently he passed away last Saturday.
It's funny. I was thinking of him last week.
Yeah.
For what reason? I don't know.
We only heard about it on Tuesday. And he's here in town. Apparently something happened, a stroke or heart attack or something. He was shipped to Anna LaBerge, and that's where he died.
How old is he? He's about 70.
Let's see. Brother Kevin's 7 years older than me. He has to be, must be somewhere hovering right around 70.
No, I think he's older than that. He's older than me.
Huh?
Yeah, he's just a little though.
I'm not sure. I think he's like about 4 or 5 years older than my brother Kevin. Kevin's 7 years older than me. How old am I now? 15, 58. Yeah, I guess maybe 71, 72-ish, around there. Yeah, anyways, yeah, he passed away last Saturday and we didn't know about it. Nobody told us. We heard about it on Tuesday. Anyways, and then when I did hear about it and I informed people, then his son got mad at me for telling people.
And he died.
Huh,
Well,
never
that-
heard of that. Never heard of somebody not or wanting to keep it a secret, somebody's death, you know. Anyways. Okay, anyways, we're gonna close up now. I think though tonight, I think we got at the proper place to have the best learning experience. Because to have the best learning experience, it has to be an interactive thing, you know, reciprocal. And tonight was like the perfect balance. It's almost like as if, well, we're thinking in English in our own minds. It's like at certain points we were digging for words in Wayagerdo's mind, in the Kanienkeha. Anyways, it was a perfect balance tonight. This is what everybody should get used to. If there is something on your mind, of course, connected to what we're talking about, you know, if there is something that you feel or you sense in the future, don't be afraid to mention it, even if it may sound silly, you know, if it, you may think it doesn't have anything to do with what we're talking about, but sometimes it may take somebody else to hear just that one thing to make those connections. Sort of like what you've heard here tonight on a few different instances, that after some of us were saying things, then it was able to help others draw conclusions. So, very good. I'm just gonna close. Okay, this is everybody that's with us? Who hasn't done the closing recently? I don't remember. You do it. You will avoid debate here.
Wagatsanuni. Agwego gunungwe da norunungwe skatne Kanienkeha. Learning. How would we say learning, Wayageru?
Yaguadeweyesta.
Yawadeweyesta.
Yeah.
Next week. That's the word.
Yidit sista soko, naksota yunda jiskwe panchita, naga naksota neda yunda jiskwe salsa, zapotek ni hunzage, mexican wanerista, yanata yuni yonkina sadista, toharaye ganosesne, taninyanga haga gahna wage, ne wis ni hunzage, onorage gawanoge, Each nuwarado garum wakariya geso, dano yonkisota, santana kakarakwa, dano yonkinita, ni hunzage, dana kundum hetzerat gawat, pero nyewago da nosa wiskara, sini kanya tarageru, agwe gono kwasu da no agwe awatsire, awatsire. Yadinyato natayuni da rodiskare wage, ayon kiatagen hadanda waran hetsara ne agwe kawatsire da no katsanhaya. Jakun sese da no de karawida, da no agwe godione, da no rodione, ne yohahiyo, kanikurio, da no gayandawana. Gayanara Saragoa, the not the de Yohade, Ayunki again had and Dower and Hetzera ne Gasastanza Negununwe, the Nogayanda Wana Gasastanza Rununwe, the no Orihuyo, Skana, Gasastanza, the no Gariwa Warishunsera, the no Nogatena Yodoxa, Eresawet, Eresawet. So Ganina Yotes, one Nigura.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, the other night when we were talking, I was talking to these elders. I came up with some words, and they were saying to me, they said, "Where where'd you get these words?" I says, 1491. They started laughing. Said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I've done the language for so many years. I could tell that with pre-arrival of Europeans, this would have been used." Then I said, "I see the French, Spanish influence in the rest of it." And the old lady, she's a real smart woman, and she smiled. She says, "Doska?" I said, "Yeah." You know, she knows about the religification of Kanienkeha, which became Mohawk. Well, you know, people say the Mohawks were the first Christian Indians. Well, they were also the first to lose their legitimate claim to the turtle.
You
They
know,
became Europeans before anything else.
it's the same way with law. Now what people call the longhouse today. You can hear stuff that is, oh no, that's Handsome Lake stuff. That's either post-religion or pre-religion. You can tell in some of the ceremonies that people are doing, in the words that they use in the house, their different levels of knowledge of application of law. You can tell that no, these people are Handsome Lake, purely Handsome Lake influenced. These people are purely just religious influence. These other people are just law influence. So stuff like that, it's evident also in law. Well, for myself, when you say 1492, for me, it's like 1989, because anybody after 1989, they're in a compromised house, a compromised state of existence because of what took place in Grand Council. And that's on both sides of the imaginary border. So myself, in talking to people today, I can tell if they're post 1989s. And myself, I refer to them as what they are. They're Johnny come latelys. They're people who want to, in their minds, claim Longhouse, but everything of what they are is of something else. Even though maybe in some instances, they're not aware of it. Maybe. But I say in most instances, everybody is fully aware of the garbage they're peddling when they're saying that they're Longhouse.
Well, I said a few things there. I thought they didn't like it, but they asked me to come back. So I told them right away. I says I don't have a religious bone in my body. So I said that's why I talk different from you. And you could tell just by the people looking at each other that who was Handsome Lake, which was like 99%.
It's pretty much everybody now.
And but at least I got my point of view. They're students, then they want to. I said I'm showing you the Genesis, not the book. The Genesis of the Kanienkeha language, or which is Otnukwa. Genesis would be Otnukwa, which is the base, which is Kanienkeha, because we're the base of the house. And the woman, she started to smile and she said, Doske. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I said, I know the law's right. I'm not right. The law's right. I studied it and I go from there.
Yeah, that's the thing about when you get people who are talking about law, who are law, and other people who aren't, then the people who aren't, they'll always get mad at you because you'll always be correct. And they'll always say, who do you think you are? Like you always know or whatever. This is what we always seen coming from warrior society mentality, because they just don't know. They like to profess that they know, but when they're stuck, then they get mad at you. But it's not you. It's not any bit of knowledge that you have to carry. The only thing you have to carry knowledge of is law. And then you carry knowledge of law, then you have knowledge of absolutely everything. You can give a proper answer or position on anything once you have law.
Well, I was surprised the other night on a Wednesday meeting, because I have a Wednesday class. So I got there when the meeting was almost over. So I was there the last 15 minutes and Paul Delarone was talking again. And he said what you said. And because there was almost all 207 people. And he says, you 207 people, he says, you're all in bed with the band council. And I started laughing and
holy shit.
What's his name? Corey McCumber was there. He was fidgeting with his glasses. And I said, oh, he's starting to step out on a limb. But he's right. When he's right, he's right.
He created them.
Well, I
He
mean,
created them, and now he's saying that to them. What could they say? They can't deny it.
no.
If the one that created them is telling them what they are, like as if any of them are going to say, no, it's not true. That's
But
but that-
saying.
that's crazy though. To know that Paul is saying that, that's really crazy. That
Well,
means we're in a double right now. All the people that are under their spell, they're in that double mind. You know, the 4-letter word that begins with an F.
Mm.
That's what they're in, a double one now. They were first just in a singular mind F word, but now they're in a double one. That's the one where you move into the mirror, and instead of looking out, you're looking inside of the mirror. So they can't ever see how to get out. They're just double stuck right inside of it. So that's a double witchcraft that they're using now. So this really, this means then that they're using the kids again there to say stuff. Because, you know, right now that a lot of the youth are not happy given what their mayor is representing. You know, their mayor isn't even now representing Mohawk, you know, knowing that Mohawk isn't Kanienkeha, Kanienkeha. So the mayor isn't even representing Mohawk now. Now she's representing purely just lesbian, just sexuality. Because every chance that she's out there, every chance that she gets, she identifies as a lesbian. So what does that mean for all the people in town who voted for her? All the the stupid people at the 207, at the Mohawk Trail who support her. What does it mean for them? You know that a bunch of the young kids are getting very pissed off over this. They've been hoodwinked. They don't know that it's Paul Delaron that actually got them locked into being puppets of the band system. And now that they're there, and their mayor is now twisting them in ways that they'll never be able to get their bearings from again. This is where now, with a simple word like that from Paul Delaron, is going to get those young kids to say stuff, take action. You know, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but I see the exact everything, the exact same atmosphere, circumstances, everything that happened, that existed right at the riots of 1973. Everything is exact same. And we know what they did back then. It was the band system that started all the problems, and then they sent Irving Goodleaf over to the Longhouse to ask for help, which spawned Louis Hall to create the Warrior Society against the will and the word of all the chiefs and all the clan mothers. So we are right in the same spot again. This is where it's like, you know, an alligator that grabs its prey and it spins it around into its death spiral. Well, the first spiral will disorient, but the second one is the death spiral. And everyone after that, it just more and more complete. So for Paul to say that, especially if the way that you're identifying it, it's in a public forum, yeah, then that means they're using dirty politics again, like always, getting their cronies to stand up and say stuff that they won't say. Janet, did you just put your hand up, or has that been up?
No, I had put it down, but I put it back up, but I think you answered my question. I was curious about Paul Delaron because I remember him from back when I was younger, back in the early 80s, him and Louis Hall, and I had been through Akwesasne and then over to Kanienkeha territory, and I had seen a lot of conflict. But it wasn't until I met you that I finally understood like who Louis was and who Paul is. Now, I see that like Paul and Francis and Loren, they do videos. And I get the impression that they're longhouse, but at the same time, from what I've seen, and then meeting you and learning the these people are basically bringing the Kanienkeha or the Mohawk people closer to a it's not good. Basically, it's like you said, it's like I don't know what I'm trying to say, but so they're kind of false representing, I guess you would say. Would that be correct?
This is precisely Loran. He cannot be speaking publicly and like as if he represents. He can speak about the language. He knows the language, but politically he cannot be speaking because he does not carry a clan. And so he is part of a distortion. When he is with Francis and Paul, this is the complete distortion that they are doing, because these are the people that worked against. You've heard me say before, in 2015, I personally brought on the floor of the house in Zasne, where Paul was, and accused him of leading the people down the path of the Garni Guraksa with the illegal cigarette trade and the warrior society. Paul was the one that was leading all of the little misled clanless warrior society here in Ganawagi. They had rented a bus this is 1989, August. It was in Onondaga. They rented a bus to go there, and they filled up the house with a bunch of clanless people who did not belong in that house. They had no business being in that house. And Paul Delaron stood in front of all of them and spoke. And what he said, he threatened all the chiefs. He threatened the great peace of the Five Nations Longhouse Confederacy, where he said to them that if you do not discuss our issues of bingo and tobacco, that we're going to remove all of you and put in people who will discuss these issues. And this is when Leon had said that if that they broke for lunch, and then after lunch come back and stopped the council, stating that it was basically like this, maybe not word for word, but he feels sorry for all the people that were misled, and that he knew this day was coming. And so instead of fighting with those people, that he chose to close the Grand Council. And this was the ultimate corruption, because they were all one. The way that it's the ultimate corruption, what Guayaguerto just said, that Paul Delaron is saying to the people at the 207 that they're all supporting the ban system. That's crazy, because it's the same reality as what existed in 1989. The warrior society, they were all one with all the people in the Grand Council. And so it was a charade that was going on within them, the same way that it's a charade when Paul Delaron says to them, oh, you're too much in with the bank system. That's Paul Delron, the band system. It's a lie within a lie within a lie to get people to not know which way you're turning around in circles, chasing your tail. Okay, anyways, yeah, we can go on and talk about this, but
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, Loren doesn't really say anything on politics, but like, yeah, he'll comment about the language and stuff. So
Well,
thank you again.
to tell you, to make it clear about this, it was about 6 or 7 years ago, we had a gathering here. It was non-native people that we were working with in, I think it was, yeah, to stop the, get rid of the nuke plant here. Anyways, we worked with them and it worked. They wanted to keep working and they started working with the band system and they thought that they would keep working with us. And I said, no. I says, no, you're with the band system. We don't work, we don't do that. And the non-native people, they just don't understand because non-native people are used to living in corruption. It's like if if they're working with A and they know they're not supposed to work with B, to them it doesn't matter. Corruption, they don't see their actions as corrupt. So when we had this gathering here, we invited all these people to explain to them about who and what the band system is. And it just so happened that in that meeting, Loran and Francis, Loran Thompson, Francis Boots, happened to walk in on the meeting. And they sat here. And I was standing in the front. I had diagrams drawn, everything. You know, I explained clearly to them. And at the end, to surmise that anybody who's within or supports the elected genocidal band system is my enemy. That's what I said. Loran and Francis Boots' response, right in front of everybody, all the white people that were present in here, and there was about at least 20. The house was full of white people that we were teaching about the true relationship or the true circumstances of the British imposed genocidal elective system. And so when I said that they are our enemy, Loran and Francis clear stated their position. They went like this, oh no, oh, no, no. And they just started laughing and like deflecting away to say, no, that's not true. They're not our enemy. No. That's Loran and Francis. That's because they are with the system. Always have been. The warrior society is a creation of the system. And what really makes it worse for Akwesasne, for them to be in that double mind F word, you know, that 4-letter F word, to be in that double screwed up position is what made it worse in Akwesasne, is in 1987. And Loran was a part of this, so was Francis. They created a thing called, it was abbreviated MN MNSSF, Mohawk Nation Sovereign Security Force. That's what they created there. And that was an extension of the first corruption they created, the Tri-Council. No, this was Loran, Francis, all of those people claiming to be Longhouse. They went into bed with the band system through a thing called the Tri-Council in 1987. And those people worked with the Grand Council on both sides of the imaginary border. So that meant that Taradaho on both sides, you know, the Handsome Lake version, the watered down version of Taradaho, and the make-believe version of Taradaho on the state side, both of them were working with these people who had created the Tri-Council. So all of them were directly linked and connected with the British imposed genocidal elective system. That's why it's utterly crazy and stupid today for Paul to say of anybody that, oh, yous are too much with the elective system. He created them. He made them that way. And what were they all about? Money, 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 money. Never anything about our people. So anyways, that's those people. And yes, these are the kind of things that I say to their faces. You know, for myself, I grew up with these people. We were all in one longhouse. I seen them. I know how they function, and I know how they dysfunction. Anyways, this is very important longhouse history, and maybe one day we'll do the Kanienkeha class on longhouse history. Just that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll her story, yeah, the true story.
Yeah, that would be cool. That would really be nice. Thank you so much.
Anyways, we already did the ending, so that's it. Sasun Dios, everybody. See you soon.
Okay, see ya.
Monaki. Thank you.